Yes.
I have a few more questions for you, Dr. McQuiston. How far was your division involved in providing health promotion work to the army stationed in Northern Ireland at the time?
I'm drawing a blank on that, I have to say. I wouldn't have been surprised if that would have been handled from London.
Or potentially by officials from the Northern Ireland office?
Possibly. I don't recall anything on that at all.
You told us that one of the differences between the national and local AIDS campaigns was that there was less emphasis on the dangers of infection through drug misuse.
That's right.
What did that mean in practice? Did that mean that it was not set out as a risk in the information that was being disseminated?
It would not have been given prominence. It possibly would have been referred to briefly, but the emphasis was very much on the dangers from unprotected sexual contact. And as I mentioned earlier, particularly in relation to businessmen and travelling overseas.
And was thought given to the fact that people travelling abroad may need to know about the risks from drug misuse?
Yes, that's what I was saying. They very much were one of the target groups.
But in relation to the risk of unprotected sex rather than drug misuse?
Yes.
And the question is, was thought given to the fact that that those travelling abroad may need to know the risk of AIDS from drug misuse?
Well, I mean, we weren't silent on the issue. It was simply a case of degree of emphasis. So, I mean, the message would have been there at a sort of less prominent level. I don't recall re-emphasising that issue for travellers, no.
Did the Northern Irish Chief Medical Officer issue any public health guidance or anything about HIV or AIDS during your tenure at the department?
I'm sure he did. I would imagine. I'd be very surprised if he didn't. That would be one of his roles to issue those kinds of bits of advice, and he certainly would have on AIDS, yes.
But you're not able to help us now with the details of that?
Not on specifics, no, really not.
And then the last question is this: can you help us in understanding how the Northern Irish Health Service budget was set in Whitehall or within the Northern Irish office?
Well, as in the case of the other territorial departments, it would have been based on the Barnett formula. So whatever expenditure was identified for England, there's a calculation that's done to produce the equivalent figures for Northern Ireland, Scotland and Wales. So that would be the basis of the block grant for Northern Ireland. Then within Northern Ireland, it's the usual public expenditure survey. There's the usual round of haggling. First of all, at the departmental level, the different divisions would be making their bid to finance division. Then our finance division and all the other departmental finance divisions would be putting their bid to the Department of Finance. And that's the way it was developed. There would be then from time to time one-off or special areas of expenditure that weren't maybe foreseen. I imagine the AIDS information program would be one such. And again, whatever amount of money was earmarked for that, we would have got our share of that in addition to the block grant, or to add to the block grant.
And your role in that process was to put in your bid for your division to the finance team in the department, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
So those are the questions I have from call participants.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think there are any questions, no questions from Dr. McQuiston's legal representatives. Do you have any questions?
Just one, really. You've spoken about the problems caused by travellers from Northern Ireland returning to Northern Ireland who might be infected during their travels. What was the sense in the north about the extent of sharing needle drug use in the Republic of Ireland, particularly in centres like Dublin?
It was quite a problem in the Republic at that stage, more akin to the position in England, as I recall.
And so, does it follow that there would be something of a possible problem of those from the north who travel to the south
Yes.
within the island of Ireland?
Yes, and indeed, advice would have been developed to include that possibility. Yes.
So, do you recall anything specific being said about that?
I don't really, but it certainly, whenever I mentioned earlier that we emphasised dangers to people travelling out of the province, that would include travelling over the border to the Republic.
Yes.
I don't remember anything specific. Really.
Well, thank you very much. That's all that I ask.
Thank you.
Dr. McQuiston, is there anything you would like to add?
No, I hope it's been helpful to some extent. I know that my position or location within the department maybe wasn't ideal from the point of view of the issues that the inquiry is addressing, but I hope to the extent possible I've been able to offer some help.
Well, thank you very much. You're right that the extent of the help you can give is limited, but nonetheless, it's been useful to us to have the Northern Irish, the organisation of the health services in Northern Ireland set out for us in the way you have, and to understand the rather different context of advertising and campaigning to reduce the spread of AIDS in the north of Ireland compared to the other territorial parts of the United Kingdom, and that's been quite helpful. So thank you for that, and that's, I think, the conclusion of our business for today. So shall we say goodbye to you, and then I'm going to invite Ms. Scott to tell me what those of us who will be here next week have to expect from the inquiry next week. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we have the evidence of Dr. Eileen Keel on Monday and Tuesday. She will be giving evidence remotely.
Yes.
Followed by the evidence on Wednesday of Jeremy Hunt, Thursday Malcolm Chisham, and Friday Susan Deacon.
Yes. So a focus on Scotland and Jeremy Hunt.
Indeed.
Very well, 10 o'clock on Monday.